So you finally retired. You've worked hard all your life, dealt with the traffic, paid a ton of taxes, the noise, and now you're wondering, what's next? I've talked to a lot of people in your same position. You're looking for peace, affordability, and a community to enjoy. But is a small town like Roseburg or any of Douglas County the real answer? Well, today I am giving you the real truth, the good, the bad, and some things that people really don't talk about, especially the huge cultural shift that surprises a lot of people that are moving from like big metropolitan areas. And stick around because near the end, I'm going to share one move that new retirees are making that stretches their money more than anything else. Hey everybody, I'm Jerry Norman with Oregon Life Homes, local real estate agent right here in Roseburg. I work with a ton of people looking to move to this area from all over the country. I absolutely love it. I get calls all the time, especially from people that have just retired or are looking to retire in the near future. And they are trying to figure out, is this quiet, slower pace of lifestyle really what they want? They may have some draw to Oregon in general, whether their kids are up around Portland or Medford or out on the coast. They don't want to be too close, but just close enough to where a weekend visit is just perfect. Look, I moved here 10 years ago, so I'm not originally from here, but I absolutely love it. And when I retire, this is where I'm going to stay. I work here, I live here, I play here. I've helped a lot of people make this move here, and so I'm going to walk you through exactly what it's like to retire in this great town. So with that, let's get on with the video. All right, let's kick off the first thing with what people absolutely love about living here in Roseburg or Douglas County in general. First off, there's not a lot of sirens, no tons of wall-to-wall traffic. Like when I was living in Tacoma, if I wanted to drive to Seattle, which is really only about 30 miles or so, depending on what time of day, it could have taken me up towards 2 hours to get there. Traveling here, a 30-mile trip, it's only going to take you about 30 minutes, 30, 40 minutes. And I never adjust for traffic times while living here. You're going to have the quiet mornings. You might hear your neighbor's tractor off in the distance or a couple cows, a couple roosters, whatever. But you're not going to have that obscene city noise that you just grow to get used to after a while. You can actually sit on your front porch and hear yourself think. Take in the views. There's tons of mental space here. It's really something you don't realize you miss until you have it. One of the biggest benefits about living here is your money goes further. I've worked with a few clients that have sold their modest home in California and pay cash for something here. And with the median sales price here in Douglas County, right around $350, $340, you can get a lot of home for your money here. And with the lower home values, your property taxes are also lower. So for your average home here in Douglas County, your taxes are going to be right around $2,200 a year. And if you compare that with the state average of Oregon, which is like $3,600 a year, or Washington State, which is about $4,200 a year, and then California's state average is $4,700 a year. And then don't even get me to mention some of those other counties in California where one is like $9,000 a year. And I've heard of tons of people moving from California and their taxes are just so much less here. And not to mention your vehicle registration. It's roughly about $130 for 2 years. And it doesn't matter if you've got a 2025 whatchamacallit or a 76 Pinto. Your tabs are going to all be about the same. Now there is a little bit of an increase if you've got an electric vehicle, but it's going to be a lot cheaper here than everywhere else. Now, stick around because towards the end of this video, I'm going to give you one financial move that a lot of people that I work with that have just retired, the move that they make that can save them tens of thousands of dollars and brings them serious peace of mind. All right, so moving on. Roseburg has a great community feel. You can walk into a grocery store, people wave to you, they try to remember your name. And if you're going to like the same store all the time, you're going to start to recognize the same employees that work there because a lot of the employees that work here, they value their jobs, so they don't leave. I know some cashiers and some bank tellers that have been at that company for years, and they're just happy doing it. So when you walk into these businesses that you're going to start frequenting, you're going to recognize the same people, and they're going to recognize you, and you're going to get that special personal service. You're really not just a face in the crowd here. And then as far as community goes, there's tons of local markets, town events all the time. And the neighbors really look out for one another here. My neighbor across the street just brought me a dozen eggs because his chickens, he had too many. It had so many eggs that he just gave them to me. So I'll go over there and help him, weed his garden or whatever. But, it's just kind of a way that, people just kind of work together here. It's almost like the small town neighborhood or the small neighborhood that you grew up in or possibly grew up in. One of the reasons why they move here is to better their way of life and stay active. Well, how are you going to stay active here? There are tons of hiking trails. Within 30 minutes, you could be hiking to waterfalls or rivers, walking along the river or fishing. There's just so much outdoor activity that the active retirees that are moving here, they absolutely love it. We've got golf courses. Then there's a world-class golf course out in Bandon Dunes. That place is amazing. So if you are retiring, there's tons of things you can do here. Great hobbies. I mean, Roseburg is a retiree town. And then I mentioned Bandon Dunes, but then you also have got about 2 hours away, you've got Crater Lake, one of the deepest lakes in the country. And what a great way to spend the day is drive up there, explore that. It is spectacular. And the scenery just to get up there is amazing. And then, I mentioned Bandon Dunes, but you can also go out to the coast. There's tons of things to do out on the coast. If you like riding the sand dunes or putting a crab pot in, there is just so much things to do and explore. And not to mention, there's a lot of hiking trails out there on the coast that are absolutely amazing. And then we get into the medical here. The medical facilities here are average. We've got Mercy Medical, which is pretty good. I mean, it's a solid regional hospital. One reason why a lot of people are moving here is because of the VA complex. We've got the VA medical facility right here in Roseburg. So they don't have to go to Salem or Portland. It's right here. So it's perfect opportunity for veterans that are thinking about retiring. You got the VA hospital. Now, if you are going to need specialty healthcare, you're going to need to go to Eugene. But Eugene is only about an hour away. And once again, not a lot of traffic. Now, you are going to hit some mild traffic in Eugene, but trust me coming from Tacoma, Seattle, it is nothing like that. Or even Portland, or definitely California. When I talk about traffic, it's just a mild slowdown. Now, obviously, you are going to have some accidents and that kind of thing that is going to stop up the freeways, but for the most part, it's not day to day. It's very seldom. So basically what I'm saying about traffic and medical is you are not going to have to fight your way across town to get to your doctor's appointment. It's always going to be 10, 15 minutes to get there. Not a big deal. Now, let's shift gears and talk about things that might surprise you about small town retirement, because it's not all roses and riverfronts. First off, if you're coming from anywhere on the West Coast, you know about the fire dangers. Now, Roseburg is really good because really we don't have that many bad smoke days. And I did a video of it about how bad the smoke actually gets. We've had a couple bad summers, but in general, it's not bad. I mean, we are first week of August right now, and it's clear skies. And then we also talk about the weather. So one reason why a lot of people are relocating to Roseburg and retiring here is because our weather. It's really mild. Yes, fall and wintertime we get rain, but very seldom do we get snow. Summer times, we are rarely above 100 degrees. Our average temperature in the summertime is right around 75 to 80 degrees in the summer. And in the winter, we barely get below freezing. I don't even think last year we had any snow, if I can remember right. And if we did, it barely got below 32 degrees. And that's just our range, pretty much 40 to 80 year round. It's a really mild climate here. Yes, it does rain, and we get a lot of it, but summer times are a great time to enjoy this area, and springtime is amazing. Great time to hike. Now, springtime, you're going to want to be careful because if you're going up into the hills, still probably a little bit of snow up there, but there are still plenty of opportunities. You can really catch some really nice spring days. Another surprise is limited dining and shopping. We do have local hotspots. I've got a ton of local restaurant favorites. There are some really good ones here. But if you are used to Michelin star restaurants or Trader Joe's around the corner, you're going to feel the difference here. We do have a lot of box stores, Walmart, Home Depot, and all kinds of different grocery stores. We've got tons of grocery stores. We've got a Costco here. For like your specialty stores, you're going to need to go to Eugene. We go to Eugene probably about once a month because there's a couple stores there that we like just for specialty food items. But really, it's not a big deal. Take the morning, go up to Eugene, do what you got to do, come back, you get the whole afternoon. It's not terrible. Another thing that surprises a lot of people moving here is it is a slower pace of life. You need a contractor, plumber, or a handyman, you're going to need to plan ahead. The good ones are booked out quickly, and if you find one that's available right away, ask around. Give me a call because maybe I've heard something bad about them. I'm not saying they are bad, but to find a good contractor they're really booked out. And for small jobs, it's really hard. It's not that people are lazy, but it's a smaller labor pool here. And once you get your go-to people, hang on to them, treat them right, because they will be invaluable to you. Now, another surprise is the community. A lot of people move here and they want to feel secluded because if a lot of people that are moving here are coming from a big town where you really don't know your neighbors and that kind of stuff. And that's fine. If you want to stay like that, that is perfectly fine and welcoming. But it's also really easy to get out and know your neighbors. You can go to events. I walk around the park and I'm having conversations the whole time. Just people coming up and talking to you, short little conversations. But if that's something that strikes you as a little odd, it's going to take a little bit getting used to. I love it. There's a lot of groups to join, volunteers, or anything like that, just to get out there. Tons of churches to join. There is just a ton of things you can do to get out in the community. The neighbors, in general, can create great friendships. And your neighbors are always there to help you. In general, you are going to have some bad ones. Most of the people here are very friendly. It is a little slower here. You can build a lot bigger connections with people here than you can in the metropolitan areas. All right, so here is one of those things I told you about earlier to watch out for that can be a huge cultural surprise for you. But most people that are moving here already are expecting it. And that is Douglas County is much more conservative than you might be used to, especially if you're coming from places like LA, Seattle, Portland. But really, here's the deal. And a lot of people that are moving from California always say, oh, I got to change my license plates right away because people in Oregon, they hate people from California. But that's not true. Really, what it is most people here live by live and let live. They're not about conflict. They're really about community and really preserving their thoughts. They don't want people moving from other areas and bringing their political values here. And they don't want people to preach and try and change them on their political views. So basically, it's just very much live and let live. And if that's one thing that you can live with, then you're going to fit in really well here. Most people that I work with, they are moving to get out of those political climates because they agree with the way people think here. Now, I stay pretty neutral, so it doesn't really matter to me, but a lot of people really are really involved and they really don't like the situations where like California is trying to get its own exit tax. So that's just one thing. If people are flooding out of California and they got to have an exit tax to get you, maybe that's why Douglas County might be a great idea. And the people that are coming here, It's because they don't see eye to eye with the political climate in California. So overall, with the political climate, as long as you don't change everybody's views, that's what they're worried about. People here is changing the way things are. People like it the way it is here. Just knowing this ahead of time helps you with the mindset before you land here. And basically, most of my clients that are moving here, they actually appreciate the calm energy of the area. All right, so is this really the lifestyle for you? Let's walk through a few questions to help you decide. Do you value space, nature, and quiet over nightlife and shopping? If you want quiet mornings, drinking your coffee on the deck, instead of traffic noise outside your bedroom window, this place is for you. Do you want to build new friendships or stay private and peaceful? Roseburg supports both. It just depends on how you engage. Do you want to make your retirement dollars go further without sacrificing lifestyle? Which brings me to the next tip I told you about earlier. And here it is. The number one thing I've seen newly retired people do when relocating here that makes them feel financially stable is they sell their home that they've got a ton of equity in and pay cash here, or putting a ton down and keeping their mortgage payments super low and buying well under their budget. In places like California, you're often maxing out your budget just to get a decent home. But here, I've had clients sell their home in LA, buy here for half, and keep the rest in savings and investments. That freedom, it's worth way more than square footage. Look, retirement is all about freedom. And you've made it this far, you've worked your whole life, it's time to enjoy life. Quit fighting traffic, quit fighting huge crowds. Roseburg gives you the space to breathe, live simply, and still be connected to nature, people, and the community. If you are thinking about relocating or just toying with the idea, give me a call, text, email. All that contact info is in the description below and right here. Also, I've got a relocation guide and the link is down below. It is packed with full of information about all of Douglas County. So if you are just toying with the idea, hit that. If you do have any questions, feel free to give me a call, text, email. I'd love to help you. And also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button because I put out videos like this every week about what it's like to live, breathe, play here in Roseburg and all of Douglas County. Check out these other videos about living in Roseburg. One about the neighborhoods in Roseburg and the pros and cons about living in Roseburg. And with that, thank you for watching, and I really hope to welcome you to Roseburg one day. Have a great day.